everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you're new here, well, my goal is simple: to break down real estate data in a way that actually makes sense so you can make smarter, more confident decisions in today's market. And if you like straight talk about the housing trends without all the fancy jargon or drama, please take a second, hit that like button down below, and hit the subscribe button as well. It really does help with the channel grow, and it means quite a bit. So thank you well in advance. All right, let's get on to today's topic because it might surprise you. Home prices are actually down in a notable number of markets across the country. Now, I know we've been on the wildest real estate roller coaster for a year, so any dip feels a little bit suspicious, but according to Realtor.com and the National Association of Realtors, this isn't just chatter. The data, well, it really backs it up. So here's the headline: 23% of the 230 metro markets tracked by the National Association of Realtors saw home prices decline year over year last quarter. Now, this means 51 markets posted price drops. Now, well, before you go start celebrating bargain basement home prices, hold up just a second, because 77% of the markets still saw price increases, or rise rather. So translation, well, we're not exactly in a crash. We're in what you can call a correction, and not everywhere, not just yet. So the declines were mostly clustered in the South and the West. Places like Reno, Nevada dropped 3.6%. Boulder, Colorado fell 3.3%. Tampa, Florida came in at 2.4% lower. Now, the only market outside of those regions to dip, well, that's Sioux City, Iowa, down 1.6% year over year. So what gives with all of this? Well, there's simply more supply in the South and the West right now, which is easing price pressure. So even though prices are down a little, they're still near record highs. So buyers in those markets might not be finding bargains, but they are finding something they haven't had lately, and that is options. Meanwhile, in Northwest and Midwest are still going strong. That's where tight inventory continues to push prices higher. In fact, the Northeast saw a 6% jump in medium single family home prices last quarter, hitting $540,100. Now, Midwest followed with 2.4% increase to $331,100. Now, some of the biggest year-over-year gains came out of Trenton, New Jersey at 9.9%. Lansing, Michigan clocked in at 9.8%, while Long Island, New York, right next to my old stomping ground, prices increased by 9.4%, according to NAR. Now, nationally, median home prices for single-family homes is now sitting at $426,800. Now, that is up 1.7% from last year. And while the growth is slower, it's still growth. Lawrence Young, chief economist at NAR, put it this way: prices continue to rise, contributing to record high housing wealth. In fact, homeowners gained an average of, get this, $140,900 in equity over the course of the last 5 years. Man, when you think about it, no wonder why 30% of home purchases in September were all cash offers, which is a record high. Now, let's talk about affordability, because this is where the story hits at home, really gets real here. Mortgage rates have come down slightly, around the 7% earlier that we saw earlier this year, to the mid-low 6% range. But prices, well, they're still high. So the relief, well, notable is but limited. So according to NAR, the typical monthly mortgage payment for home purchase last quarter was $2,187 with a 20% down. That's down 2.8% from last quarter, but still 2.2% higher than a year ago. Now, first-time buyers, well, the picture, well, it's a little tougher. Typical starter home is now priced at $362,800 with a mortgage monthly payment of $2,146. Now, that is based on a 10% down payment. Now, that's up $45 from a year ago. And first-time buyers are spending, this is actually pretty interesting, 37.4% of their income on housing, which is well into what most experts are considering cost burden. And here's the stat that made me do a double take. The average first-time buyer is now 40 years old. That's another record high right there. First-time buyers now account for just 21% of home purchases, the lowest share since NAR began tracking this stuff back in 1981. So the big question is this, friends: are we finally seeing a market shift? Well, the answer is kinda. It's regional, it's uneven, and it does have layers. So if you're in parts like the South or the West, you may be seeing a window of opportunity as supply improves. But price shifts in those areas might be more of a second chance moment than a long-term trend, especially in states with strong job growth. But if you happen to be in the Northeast or Midwest, well, it still looks like the same competitive market that we've been talking about for years, driven by low inventory and high demand. And just for fun or pain tolerance, here are the most expensive housing markets in the country right now, according to the National Association of Realtors. San Jose, California, sitting at $1.9 million median price. Anaheim at $1.4 million, San Francisco $1.3 million, Honolulu at $1.1 million, and the list goes on from there. And if you are thinking, wow, that's a lot of money, you and your bank account are not alone. So here's the takeaway with all this. The real estate market today isn't doing just one thing. It's doing several things at the same time, really depending upon where you live. Prices are down in some areas, up in others, and affordability, well, it remains a major challenge nationwide. Data gives you direction, but your local market gives you the real answer, which is why my biggest piece of advice to you is this: talk to your real estate agent. Have a real conversation about what these trends mean for your city, your timeline, and your goals, because national headlines, are one thing. Your neighborhood is another. All right, friends, that's going to be it for this end of week report. Thanks again for watching. Now, if you happen to be in California looking to buy or sell, I'm a real estate agent right here in Orange County. If you have any questions or need any help, feel free to give me a shout. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with somebody that could use the information. Friends, I'm going to be shutting off the camera. I will see you in the next video.